This video shows you how to configure vSphere to send alerts when the VMs are running on snapshots. This video is based on knowledge base article 1018029. To set up an alarm on an object, the vSphere client must be connected to a vCenter server system. In addition, you must have proper user permissions on all relevant objects to create alarms. vSphere 4 brings a lot of new features. One of them is the possibility of receiving alerts about a wide variety of issues which happen on many types of objects in your infrastructure. For more information, see the section Working with Alarms in the vSphere Basic Systems Administration Guide available on the vSphere main documentation set. In this video, we will focus on configuring an alarm for VMs running on snapshots. Before you configure alarms, you have to decide which level of the inventory you want to configure them for. When you set up an alarm on an object, all applicable child objects inherit the alarm. The object can be a vCenter, a data center, a cluster, a host, a data store, a folder, a resource pool, or just a single VM. Once it is configured, you will be able to see it from the underlying child objects, but it will only be configurable from the object where it was created. Let's say we have decided to configure the alarm over the data center object. First, we select the object and go to the Alarms tab, Definitions, right-click and New Alarm. Additionally, you can just right-click on the object and select Alarm, Add Alarm. There are 4 sections to configure. The first is the General section. Here we will put a name for the alarm, select Monitor, Virtual Machines, select Monitor for specific conditions and enable the alarm. On the Trigger section, click on Add, click the trigger type and select VM snapshot size. The condition will be is above, and here, for example, we will put 1 for warning and 2 for alert, which means that we will get a warning when the aggregate size of all snapshots taken for this virtual machine will go above 1 GB. State triggers do not have condition lengths. As soon as the state condition occurs, the warning is triggered. On reporting, you can modify the condition range and time frequency for repetition of the alarm. In our case, we leave the defaults. Finally, click on Actions. We will add an action by clicking on Add. Clicking the actions, you can choose any of the possible actions. In our case, we will select Send a Notification Email. On configuration, we will add the email address we want the alarm to go to. Next, we have to choose if we want to receive a notification every time or just once there is a status change from normal to warning, warning to alert, alert to warning, and warning to normal. In this case, we want to receive 1 email with every status change, except for the warning to alert transition, for which we want to receive an email every 5 minutes. Now we click OK and our alarm is ready. Before vCenter server can send emails, you must perform the following tasks. Configure the SMTP settings for vCenter server, or configure the SMTP settings for Microsoft Outlook Express. To configure the SMTP settings for vCenter server, go to Administration, vCenter Server Settings, Mail. Here we have to configure the SMTP server and the sender account. In the SMTP server, put the DNS name or IP address of the SMTP gateway to use for sending email messages. In the sender account, put the email address of the sender. Note, if you have a firewall or antivirus on your vCenter, you have to configure it to allow SMTP traffic. If you have problems receiving email notifications, you can create and use the alarm VM renamed for testing purposes, as it is very easy to trigger. Additionally, you can check our knowledge base article 1004070. Here we can see the email we received when the alarm was triggered. You may notice that the alarm is not triggered straight away when the snapshots go above 1 GB, but rather when you perform almost any action that makes vCenter check the VM files, rename, create snapshot, clone, vMotion, etc., or on the next storage views update. When the triggering conditions are no longer true, a triggered alarm resets automatically and no longer triggers, and the alarm will disappear from vCenter. You can disable all alarm actions for individual objects, but you cannot disable individual alarms. That is why it is important to be careful when choosing the inventory object where you want to create the alarm. Thank you for viewing this video, KB. We hope you find it useful.